Test, test, howdy, test. Out. Hey y'all, I hope everybody's doing well. Today's topic, I sound like a school teacher. Anyhow, my topic today will be about RV park rules. Not very many people talk about RV park rules, and they're very necessary if you are going to reside as a full-timer in an RV park. Even if you're going to stay there a week, a night, what have you, there's certain rules that still apply. RV parks are not made to come party hardy in. Lots of residents in the South, we have a lot of residents, full-timers, that live in this park. They've lived here for years. We're not seasonal in the South. We're, 365 days a year. So I thought that I would go over some rules just as a topic, and it can cause evictions. I've evicted 2 people today. One for the lack of payment on rent. And I told her, I said, you have to communicate with me. If you communicate with me, I might be able to work with you. If you do not communicate with me, then there's not a whole lot I can do for you. And she's passed through on her rent and she hasn't communicated. And you can tell that they're avoiding me because they come in at 10:30 at night and they're gone first thing in the morning. By the way, I'm using this hoping to filter out the AC noise because the ACs in RVs are very loud. Okay, so let's get, the second eviction today was because this young couple moved in. They moved in a week ago Saturday. They had 2 broken windows in their RV. We have a 10-year rule here. Every once in a while, I will bend that rule if the RV is in decent condition, which I did not get to inspect this RV beforehand. They sent me pictures. And of course, you can't really go by pictures because who knows when those pictures were taken. And I suspect that they were already booted out of another RV park. In fact, they kind of confirmed it today. So they moved in. We pay the utilities at this specific park. Most parks you don't have to do that with anymore. But there are still a few of us older parks that it would cost us a fortune to have meters put on each site. So we pay the utilities. We just add it into their rent as one flat fee. So these people move in, 2 broken windows, leaving their door hang open all the time, had another window open, and AC's running, which is never a good idea to begin with because that can kill your air conditioner. It's not a good thing to do. So I talked to them and I said, put plastic over these windows, get those windows fixed. They couldn't put plastic over the windows. It was pathetic. I've put plastic over my windows during ice storms and such because sometimes they tend to leak if you get too much ice over the windows or what have you. I did that when I was stranded in Dallas for a week during an ice storm with my motorhome. But anyhow, so I look over and they bought the shower curtain. Shower curtains make great plastic coverings for windows. They're the right, thickness, and they won't let the water run through and such. So you just kind of cut it out a little beyond the circumference of the window. You duct tape it down. So they they took the shower curtain. One of the broken windows was on their entry door. So they took the shower curtain, just looped it over the entry door and taped it down to the door. So every time they opened the door, the wind was blowing it and it was coming off. And I was like, no, this isn't how you do it. And then I told the girl, how it had to be done. So her boyfriend does it the next day and it falls off. So they don't care. They just leave it off. They don't care. So I knock on her door. I tell her, you have to cover those windows. Well, it fell off. Well, fix it. Well, what do you want me to do? Tape it back up. Oh, I can't do that. That's a man's job. I almost lost it on her at that point. It's like, wow. So anyhow, we went on for a couple of days like that. And then finally, I really pushed and pushed and pushed. And they finally got a new glass put in the door. However, the bedroom window is still missing. Oh, and in the meantime, the entry door window has glass hanging off of it. Glass, shards of glass. Who does that? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Oh, well, so in the meantime, the bedroom the bedroom window is still missing. There is another window on the side of their RV that's opened. Their vents open on the roof, and they're running their AC, and they're still leaving the door open. Well, last night, the boyfriend stayed. And they had a big fight. They fought the entire night. We have quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Scared the neighbors, scared other tenants that heard it. One of the tenants was walking past their RV to take their trash out, and they said, it scared me. And lots of foul language, lots of throwing stuff, lots of loudness, and so they got evicted. Point blank, they got evicted. And typically in situations like this, we just prorate the rent and give them the rest of their rent back the day they leave. And that's the way this one will be handled. So, and they got a 3-day notice, which means you actually count the next day, because you have to give a 24-hour notice. So you count the next day. So let's say, what's today? Monday. So they get Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to get themselves together, find somebody to tow them out, find another RV park, and they have to be gone by noon on Friday. Otherwise, then we start a court eviction, which is never fun. Hold the thought. That was Scam Likely. Scam Likely likes to call a lot. So anyhow, so much for them. Hopefully they'll comply. Hopefully they'll be out of here and we'll be done with that. They asked if they could move to a different part of the park. I said, no, you're just going to take the troubles with you. He said, can I just never come again? No, these issues have not been taken care of. And no, you'll just have to find somewhere else to live. Okay, so RV park rules. For one, the number one rule, no sex offenders can reside here. This is on the guest registration sheet. And then, we ask number of people, number of pets, the standard questions, make of RV, license plate number, make of vehicles, license plate number on the vehicles. We get their personal ID. We have a no refund policy. Once a deposit is paid towards the purpose of renting a site, your deposit is not refundable. So when you make deposits on RV sites, be sure that you are planning on moving into that site. The reason for the non-refund is because we could have rented that site out to someone else, so we lost revenue. And early move-outs do not constitute a refund. We have a liability form, theft of services law, which means they cannot plug into another site and use the power and such on that site also. because then they're stealing power. Okay, so I almost said the park name. We're not saying where I am. We're not doing that. Okay, so again, all sex offenders are prohibited on park grounds. We have a school on either side of us, which helps protect us, actually. Helps us enforce that rule a little easier. So once evicted, any previously evicted tenant can never return to park property. Any previously evicted tenant will be considered as trespassing at that point upon entering the property. We had to do that because we had a problem with people that were evicted, the bad people that made friends with other not so great people that lived in the park, and they would come here as their guest and cause trouble. So, which falls into the next rule: if a tenant or guest allows a previously evicted tenant onto the ground, that is grounds for eviction for the current tenant that resides in the park. This rule will be strictly enforced and trespassing procedures will follow. You know, when I first took this job, I thought, too many rules. You know, what's up with all the rules on parks and such? Now I get it. It's to protect the tenants. It's to protect the other tenants that live within the park grounds. It's to protect the, park people. It's to protect park staff. It protects everybody. So, okay, so all tenants and their guests must be registered. We had to start registering guests because we don't know who's coming in here. All pets and their guests must be registered. Certain breeds of dogs are prohibited at this above park. Unfortunately, we had to enforce that rule as well because of dog attacks. We had a few dog attacks on people. Oh no, my dog won't bite, Yeah. Don't believe it. Any pets must be contained. No tethering animals outside unattended. No excessive annoyances such as continued barking, allowing feces to lay on the ground, park damages, or disturbances to others, etc. Any person bringing a pet, a guest or whoever, bringing a pet into the park must clean up after them. It's nothing more disgusting than walking outside and there's poop all over the ground. There's no excuse for that. When walking your pet, please use your poop bag to clean up. Dispose of it in the trash containers that exist in the park. Any garbage at sites must be bagged and taken to the trash containers daily. We are not a resort. We are just a full-time RV park. There is a difference on resorts and full-time RV parks. So in a full-time RV park, we don't have a staff that runs around in little golf carts or what have you and picks up your garbage. You have to do that yourself. Quiet hours begin at 10 p.m. through 8 a.m. The police department will be called in if quiet hours are not respected. Night traffic is frowned upon. Please keep that to a minimum as it disturbs tenants' rest, and it does. No speeding through the park is tolerated. Our speed limit is 5 miles per hour. Safety is imperative to others in the park, which is a big deal. A lot of people think, what? Who cares? Who cares? I'm just going to fly through that park. Who cares? Well, you're going to care if some kids out there walking, riding their bike, and adults out there walking, or people are standing there chatting, and they get hit by a car. Yes, that matters. Plus, it's very dry. It's very dusty. Hasn't rained in a few days, so there's a lot of dust. And when you speed through the park, you're kicking up all kinds of dust everywhere. Illegal drug activities are grounds for eviction for the residing tenant and their guests. Theft activities within the park premises are grounds for eviction for the residing tenant and their guests. Yes, you do run into illegal drug activity at parks. We've had people, even with brand new RVs, set up, get a site, set up, start selling drugs out of their RV. Not smart. Definitely not smart. And then you notice which tenants do the drugs because they start flocking to that RV. And then all of a sudden it's like a fast food drive-in. Like, wow, there's one car after another, after another, after another, and it can go on all night long. You know how to take care of that? Call the DEA. They love it. They love it. They love to get these people. Yeah, they'll go to jail for that. And yes, definitely don't steal. That's stupid, you know. I had my generator stolen. I know who did it. Can't prove it. That guy's in jail anyhow because he got caught. Okay. There's a late fee charge. Some RV parks do not accept late payments. Some RV parks it's automatic eviction. Some will charge you so much per day for late fees. No smoking inside the office, bathhouse, or laundry room. That's to protect people that don't smoke. Number of tenants in each RV, 2 adults and 1 child are okay. You know, if it goes over that, then it's a $25 charge per person. No more, depending on the size of the RV, no more than 4 to 5 people in an RV, unless it's a family. But a lot of day workers, a lot of workers come in and stay here. So, but they're pretty good people. Okay, children. As per Texas state law, an adult should accompany all children under the age of 12. Injuries to an unsupervised child may result in criminal charges against the parents. The quiet time again. Please respect others, blah, blah, blah. No shooting of fireworks or firearms within the park. People go, what? And then it has never. Uses of such is grounds for eviction. That happens in RV parks. Now the fireworks, that's because all these RVs have propane, so we don't want any accidents. Plus, not everybody enjoys fireworks, and there's other places in town to go to for that. Firearms, no. You cannot shoot a firearm within the park. It's not legal with our park rules. And we did have a couple of incidents where some of the tenants just kind of went a little bonkers. This was before I became manager, and they held a gun on other people. Didn't actually shoot the gun, but they pointed that gun at them. Not good. So, again, police are called out. Okay, dumpster rules, blah, blah, blah. This RV park, our trucks have grinders, so you cannot throw like air conditioners or furniture or anything like that in the garbage. Just household goods only. And, if you bring stuff into the park, take stuff out of the park. Don't expect us to be responsible for it. Any cost of property damage will be charged to the resident responsible. Laundry rules. Our machines here use cash, which is, from what I understand, becoming a rarity. But, if you leave your laundry in a washer or a dryer unattended, another tenant is permitted to take your laundry out and lay it on the table, because we only have, it's a small RV park, so we just have 3 washers and 3 dryers. And most people are really good about that, though. Your site, please maintain and keep your site free of debris, garbage, and trash in the form of cigarette butts, bottle caps, cans, bottles, etc. No loud music and no offensive language will be tolerated. Please respect the rights of others. That was another thing. The people were just yelling profanity, throwing stuff inside their RV, scaring the other tenants around them. Okay, there's another one. Roof tarps. We understand that weather and elements can cause damages to your rooftops. When tarps are to be used, they are to be used only on a temporary basis. Please get repairs done to your RV ASAP. People don't want to drive through an RV park that looks dilapidated. And the tarps and such, yeah, I understand things happen. Get it fixed, get it repaired. Don't expect to live like that forever. Okay, changing of sites is not permitted without manager approval. Somebody actually did that on me. They found out somebody moved out, so they just moved their RV right onto that spot without permission. What a headache that was. Do not park your vehicles on empty sites. Do not use empty sites for any reasons, or you will be responsible for rental on those sites. Cannot rent out a site if somebody's vehicle is left behind on that site. Somebody comes in, we can't move the vehicle. So you're going to get charged for that. You're using the power on that site. May as well pay the rent on that site. Simple. Of course, I think I already said this one. Once evicted, any previously evicted tenant can never return to park property. Any previously evicted tenant will be considered as trespassing at that point upon entering the property. Okay, yeah, we did talk about that. Theft is grounds for immediate eviction for the offending tenant and any occupants that reside with the offending tenant. This rule will be strictly enforced and eviction procedures will follow. Yes. We had a tenant that broke in to one of our buildings here, stole some stuff, and he went to jail for it. His girlfriend remained here. She wanted to live here. We said, no, you cannot stay here. She didn't understand it, but she was playing innocent, which she wasn't. No names will be mentioned. The RV park won't be mentioned. So anybody can come to assumptions on this stuff. Yeah, it's not going to be mentioned. We need safety and protection. Okay, and then I hand out a basic rules sheet that also states the same things, just a much simpler form that they have to take and keep in their RVs. And it also has the park address, phone number, Wi-Fi password, all that. So that's it for RV park rules. Those are, I hope I expounded on the reasons why the rules have to be necessary. And so if you go into an RV park and they have tons and tons of rules, please understand that that's actually for your safety. So, you know, if you let any Joe Blow in and they cause all kinds of trouble, and, you know, it's not good. It's not, we're a quiet community here. We keep things quiet. We keep the park clean. And we just don't put up with any crap. I do realize, and I am forgiving of this, I do realize that sometimes couples will get into fights from time to time. Keep it inside. Don't bring it outside. Keep it down as much as possible. Yes, they're tiny, tiny, small spaces, you know, and you have nowhere to go. It's not like a house. You can go to the bedroom, slam the door, what have you. You know, somebody once said that, yeah, my wife and I had a fight, and I ran to the bathroom and slammed the door. RV bathrooms are this big. And he said, so I sat there. I was like, this isn't fun. What have I done to myself? So, and I'm sure they probably both just laughed it off at that point. But, you know, and yes, if you have pets, don't leave them outside. Don't let them bark, 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 bark. Clean up after them. Be respectful to your neighbors. Don't let them just run up to anybody, because not everybody likes dogs. Today in the office, somebody came to pay their rent. He does not like dogs. It was obvious. Somebody else had a dog in there, wasn't watching his dog. The dog walked up to that tenant. That tenant just froze. And I had to tell the other tenant, pull your dog over to the corner. Don't let your dog hang out by people that don't know your dog. So just common sense. Just use common sense. Okie doke. You should have seen what I went through to do this video. Remember the video I did on my camera cage and everything? I had everything set up. It took a little while. And then I couldn't get my lighting right. I thought, forget it, I'm grabbing the cell phone. So that's what you get. Anyhow, love y'all. Y'all take care out there. And, I can't wait to get out. I can't wait to get my life. I can't wait to have a free life. I'm sitting here watching video after video after video and remembering the days when I hit the road. And oh my gosh, I always had to come home though. I had to come home. I showed dogs, had to come home. I'd go on a trip to see family, still had to come back home. And it was like, now I just want to hit the road and not have to go home. So I'm working on it. Okay, catch y'all later. Live the life you love. Peace out, and I love you. Bye. Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing